Hello everyone, back tuning into the 14th Christmas update. So we're over halfway through now. We've got 25 of these penciled in, so we reach halfway point with update 13. And generally they have been very sort of zonal and mild Christmas updates this year. Lots of low pressure dominated updates with really strong Atlantic conditions, bringing gales and severe gales and bouts of heavy rain too. That was particularly true for actually the 13th update. The midway point update was a very, very stormy update indeed, with just continuous storms really being pushed across the country through the Christmas period. So we can't really pinpoint this down to the weather for Christmas Day yet. That will be when we get to around a week before Christmas, of course. We'll be able to start putting down the detailed broadcast day. So what we're doing is we're looking to get the trains of the long-range CFS V2 model for around the Christmas period. So we're talking mid-December, sort of late December to early January. And as I say, the updates so far, they have been very Atlantic-driven, very stormy updates indeed, except for update 5. That was a rather colder one, but really hasn't been much doing at all for anybody who wants cold and snowy weather for Christmas. So we'll see what update 14 has to say in a moment. Just to say, before I get on with that, Christmas shop is open, so if you've got any Christmas shop to do at Amazon between now and Christmas, just click the green button underneath this video that says Christmas shop. It'll take you through to our Christmas shop page. You're right on the right page, because you'll see snowflakes coming down your screen. But the key to it all is to go through the Amazon banners. If you click the Amazon banners, you'll go straight to Amazon, where you can do your Christmas shopping as normal. You don't need to do anything different other than the fact that you're going from Gazovitz to Amazon means we are getting a revenue thing on the things that you are buying when you arrive at Amazon. They know that you've gone from our website to their website, and so we get a revenue thing on things that you're buying. A big thank you to everybody for doing that, as always, for Gazovitz. You've got plenty of time still to get Christmas shopping in, but we are reaching the start of December, of course. We are cracking on now, getting ever closer to Christmas, 1st of December, tomorrow. So you've still got a couple of weeks, of course, to comfortably get your Christmas presents from Amazon. Big thank you to everybody for doing that. Just say about the model, so we're using the CFS 9 monthly forecast, as always, from metroseal.fr. I say as always, actually, when we get to around update 18 or 19, we will switch from the GFS to the from the CFS, the long range model, to the GFS. We will do a switch around update 18 or 19. So won't be using this for too much longer, another week to 10 days, and then we'll start thinking about moving over to the shorter range model. But it's the CFS V2 9 monthly forecast from the website metroseal.fr. You can find the links to Metroseal on the links page. It's a midday run. We always use the same run time after time, then we can't be accused of cherry picking any particular outcome. This is just the way these updates are coming out as we are doing them. Generated midday yesterday, 29th of November. There's always that 24-hour delay on getting the charts through to Metroseal. So, without anything else left to say, let's get on with your 14th Christmas update. And we're beginning just 10 days away now, on the 10th of December, when we find that we've got an area of high pressure just to our west with cold air to the east. This is associated really with the cold weather that we have going on right now. So we've got high pressure out to our west, we've got cold air to the east, and we're bringing down these cold north to northwesterly winds. Probably mostly dry, but frosty with that scenario. So we go through to the 11th and then on to the 12th, and we try and bring the Atlantic in with this area of low pressure. That's trying to move in, but you'll notice that across the continent, so much of Scandinavia, much of Central and Eastern Europe, we've got quite a deep cold pool of air sitting there. And a bit of a high pressure over Scandinavia as well. So proper old battles going on there on the 12th of December. Mild air is trying to drive in from off the Atlantic with this area of low pressure close to Greenland and Iceland, and the Azores high down here. But a big block of cold air is sitting across the continent, trying to ward it off. What's going on for us there is that we're mostly dry, but it would be pretty cold, and there'd be some widespread frost coming through with that. Let's run on a bit further to the middle part of the month, and the Atlantic does break through, so we're bringing cloud and outbreaks of rain in from off the Atlantic. A little bit of a stall is taking place here as this frontal system is meeting the cold air, so you wouldn't rule out the chance of a little bit of winteriness with that. But essentially the Atlantic is pushing through with these westerly winds, bringing outbreaks of rain. Quite strong winds in from off the Atlantic as well. So we're going up to the middle part of December now, up to the 14th and on to the 15th. So low pressure is still trying to move in from off the Atlantic, but really being held up by this high pressure that's up over Scandinavia. Now, I've got a very large area of cold air that's sitting across much of Central Europe, and with these east to southeasterly winds, that is trying to push towards us. So we're very close now on the 15th of December. Have started to pull in some very cold air from the east. Actually, we remain under these areas of low pressure and are probably bringing at least showers to western parts of Europe. But it's a rather odd-looking chart. And the reason it's an odd-looking chart is that the low pressures are essentially being blocked by all of this cold air that's sitting to our east and to our northeast. Quite interesting. Now, as we go through to the 16th, that cold air is winning the battle. So the low pressure is beginning to slip away into central parts of Europe. Low pressure again going around Italy, and that's turning the winds into the east. So colder air now is starting to push in from the east, possibly with some snow showers moving in from the east as well there on the 16th of December. Let's run on a bit further. So we go through to the 17th, and we're firmly in cold conditions now. We've got high pressure out to our northwest. We've got high pressure to our east. The flow is gently coming in from the east. There's probably not too much snow, but it would be cold. You'd certainly have hard overnight frost with that, and certainly there is a risk anyway of a few snow flurries coming in from the North Sea as well. So cold around the middle part of December for night's 14th Christmas update. Let's get a bit closer to December, and we're going up to the 9th, to Christmas, I should say, going up to the 19th and the 20th. High pressure is out to the northwest now, so the wind is still coming in from an easterly. This is a much, much colder update, and we've got low pressure beginning to develop in the North Sea. That's starting to spread snow showers back in from off the North Sea into eastern parts of the country as well. It certainly is cold, and there'd be some hard overnight frost coming through as well. We're up to the 21st of December. Still cold. The high pressure out to the northwest. We're bringing in the flow around the high pressure from easterly direction. Could be snow showers in the south and east. Maybe a little bit less cold up in the north, and it would be frost as well. So a really seasonably chilly run up to Christmas on tonight's 14th update. Let's get to Christmas then. And we're going up to the 23rd and on to the 24th, Christmas Eve. And high pressure is essentially being maintained around the country. Now, we're losing that easterly wind, so we're not dragging that bitterly cold air in from Central Europe, but we are under high pressure, and nothing has happened to stir the air up. So this is still cold. It's not easterly wind cold, but it's cold and frosty, and probably quite foggy as well, especially so for England and Wales. Some milder air might have infiltrated into Scotland, but essentially that would still be cold and frosty even on Christmas Eve. This is Christmas Day with high pressure dominating the day, so there will be a lot of dry weather coming through as well. Again, I think it's still cold under that high pressure, so hard overnight frost. If any snow has fallen from that easterly wind that we have from the middle part of the month, say the 21st of December, then that will still be maintained on the ground. So overall, a seasonably cold Christmas Day here for our 14th update. It's only the second one we've had this year, so far that suggests a chance of cold conditions for Christmas. I have to emphasise it's not cold and snowy, but it's cold and dry, and there will probably be frost and fog with that. This is Boxing Day, so we find that it's still cold, really. That high pressure is slipping into eastern parts of Europe, but the drift is coming in from off the continent, so nothing's happened to stir the air up again. I think that would essentially be another cold day on Boxing Day with frost and fog. Beyond Christmas, and we start to work towards New Year, the Atlantic breaks through. So now we're very quickly and rapidly going back into a westerly flow, much milder conditions flooding in from the Atlantic and becoming quite stormy as well, with gales or severe gales up in the north. Let's run to New Year, and very unsettled conditions take us to the end of 2017 and into the start of next year. So this is New Year's Eve, for example, looking wet and quite windy up in the north. This is New Year's Day, where we find a little bit of a cold snap is appearing from the northwest. This low pressure clears away into Scandinavia. Essentially, this is just an unsettled end to the year with wet and windy conditions driving in from the Atlantic after that cold Christmas. And then I'll run you through the first few days of the new year. And what we find happening is that, again, we've got high pressure trying to build up over Scandinavia. More cold conditions are lurking across Central Europe. What becomes of that? So, well, not a lot. We do bring in some cold air for a couple of days during the first week of January, but it's quickly broke down and swept away by Atlantic conditions. Although, again, you'll notice generally the flow with these low pressures is coming in from the north, and that's because the jet stream is on a northwest-southeast trajectory. So even when it turns unsettled, and we get it unsettled between Christmas and New Year, we get it unsettled again through early January. Even when it gets unsettled, we do pull down quite cold air with these areas of low pressure due to the jet stream being on a southerly track. I've run you up to the 13th of January. We won't go any further. So a much more interesting update tonight for anybody that wants cold conditions. We've definitely got quite a cold run there from the middle of December going up towards Christmas. And there's a chance of snowing with that as well, with those easy winds. Christmas itself is dry, but it's still cold and frosty, so seasonably cold and frosty Christmas. Then after Christmas to New Year, the Atlantic floods in, and we turn things a good deal milder, but not exactly mild, and it's more unsettled, stormier conditions take us to the end of the year. And those conditions then more or less run through the early part of January, albeit quite cold at times with the jet stream going on a northwest-southeast trajectory. Is this the start of the CFS model beginning to shift to a colder situation? We've had a lot of mild updates through the first half of these Christmas updates, but and the trend has definitely been there for the weather to be mild and stormy around the Christmas period. But just because we've had that trend, it doesn't mean that it's the right trend. The model could have had the wrong trend all the way along. Now, as we're getting a little bit close to Christmas, it might be that CFS is going to start to shift itself into something a good deal colder. We'll have to wait and see, and I think the 15th update on Saturday is going to be eagerly awaited to see whether we develop this colder trend that we've got for tonight's 14th update, whether we develop that anymore, or whether actually the model is going to shut the door on it and go running off with its stormy updates again. So the 15th update on Saturday, I think that's going to be very, very eagerly awaited. Right, that's all for now. Thanks for watching.